listen to the podcast. Just search for Hancock and Kelly.
Yesterday was the third anniversary of supporters of former President Donald Trump rioting at the U.S. Capitol. A day earlier, President Biden made a speech about January 6th, which is now the top issue of his re-election campaign.
Trump's mob wasn't a peaceful protest. It was a violent assault.
He said President Trump and his supporters placed a dagger at the throat of democracy on January 6th, and the threat continues with Donald Trump now seeking re-election. President Biden said democracy was on the ballot this go-round. A new Biden campaign ad highlights that very fact, or that claim by him, and it is a change in strategy from his focus on what he called Bidenomics. Now he's focusing on January 6th and what he calls MAGA extremists. Do they really hold a dagger at the throat of democracy? Is that on the ballot here, Michael?
Yeah. Well, we all witnessed what happened 3 years ago when the former president riled up his folks to have an insurrection at the Capitol. Does anybody not believe he would do it again? He says he wants to suspend the Constitution. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to vindicate all of his enemies throughout the past. This man is not somebody who cares about America. He cares solely about Donald Trump. Fortunately, Joe Biden's putting the spotlight on the detriment that we almost went through 3 years ago, and we could be living again a year from now.
Is democracy on the ballot?
Democracy is always on the ballot, Andy. And the president never looked younger and more spry than he looked in that address the other day. My heavens. Look, there's a reason Joe Biden's not talking about the economy, because it's a loser for him. And he's got to do something that is very difficult for an incumbent president to do. He's got to make the election a referendum on his opponent. That's a tall order. That's not easily done in political communication. But that's clearly what the Biden folks are focused on. I'm still not convinced he's going to be the nominee, but I don't know that this approach is going to work.
Donald Trump's supporters say Democrats actually hold a dagger to the throat of democracy by keeping people from even having a chance to vote for Donald Trump in 2024. That now includes some of you watching right now. 5 voters filed a petition with the State Board of Elections in Illinois to keep Trump's name off state primary ballots, saying he is not eligible under the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause because he encouraged the January 6th Capitol riots. As of now, his name will not be on primary ballots in Maine and Colorado. The United States Supreme Court has just agreed to review the Colorado ban with arguments set for February 8th. Who's really holding the dagger here, John Hancock?
Well, the Supreme Court's going to settle this question once and for all. It's never been adjudicated before, whether the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment applies here. Colorado says it does. Other states have said it doesn't. Now the Supreme Court's going to weigh in. I will be very surprised if the Supreme Court says that Donald Trump's name cannot appear on the ballot.
Should people not even have the option of voting for Donald Trump? Is that democracy?
Well, I mean, if he violated the law, then he shouldn't be on there, and that's what the Supreme Court's going to do. This Illinois thing is now just pile on the bunny. This is all going to go to the Supreme Court. They're going to make a ruling. Donald Trump's Supreme Court, he's expecting them to stand up for him. What's interesting to me, Andy, is that when you listen to some of these legal scholars, they think there's significant weight behind this argument. He may be in trouble.
Still to come on Hancock and Kelly, the mayor's about face on a new mask mandate. It's our quote of the week. And Jeffrey Epstein, the court documents revealed. Do they really tell us anything?